It was a great opening weekend of NFL action. And today on Sports Card Investor, 5 cards that are now going up.
My name is Jeff Wilson. By day, I invest in tech companies. And at night, I invest in sports cards. Join me on my journey to profit from the hobby we all love.
Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode. How happy were you that you got to kick back on your couch on Sunday and watch NFL football? I tell you what, I was glued to my couch all day Sunday, Saturday too. I enjoyed watching Georgia Tech beat Florida State. As someone who lives in Atlanta, and actually our office is right here on the lovely Georgia Tech campus, our studio here for Sports Card Investor, and as someone who went to the University of Florida, I love it when Georgia Tech wins. I love it when FSU loses. So it was a nice little treat this weekend. College football was great. The NFL was great. And the sports card market has been great as well. And we've got 5 cards to talk about. Before we do, real quick, do me a favor. If you have not yet hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button right now and hit the little bell icon next to it. We've got some awesome new content we're going to start to put into our weekly rotation. I'll tell you about it at the end of today's show, but you are going to want to make sure you are subscribed. So hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon right now. All right, let's talk about our 5 cards, and it's very fitting that this week, with it being the start of the NFL season, that our 5 cards are going to concentrate on football. Now, one of those 5 might be the European version of football. The other 4 are going to be the American version of football. And these are all cards that have been going up due to awesome player performances. So let's start with number 5, Josh Jacobs. You guys know Josh Jacobs. He is the bruising running back for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm getting used to saying the Las Vegas Raiders. It's actually fun. I can't wait till the world gets back to normal and I can go see one of their games in Las Vegas. This guy's great. He obviously was a rookie last year, was the 24th pick in the draft last year by the Raiders out of the University of Alabama. He had a great year last year. At the end of the year, he was out a little bit, but for most of last year, he was absolutely had an incredible rookie performance, and he showed us this past weekend that he is only getting better going into his sophomore year in the NFL. Against the Panthers, he had 25 carries, 93 yards, but most importantly, 3 touchdowns against the Panthers. You fantasy football fans out there, you are certainly happy if you had Josh Jacobs in your lineup this weekend. And for those of you who are owning his sports cards, you are also happy because let's take a look at what his cards did. We are looking at Josh Jacobs' 2019 Prism base card in raw. And guys, this is not an expensive card. Every week in the comments when I do this show, people say, hey, can you talk about some cards that are less expensive? Here you go. I'm doing it for you right now. I'm doing it for you today. Because folks, this is a card that you could have picked up going back even a month ago. This was a card that was around $10 right here. It was around $10 for his 2019 Prism Football base card raw condition. And you can see this card's been on a steady incline over the last few weeks, but look what it's done in the last day or two since his performance on Sunday. This card hit a high of $35 on Sunday. So after his game was over, people started buying his cards up. This, again, was a card that a month ago was $10 and now is $35. That is quite an increase for Josh Jacobs. All right, let's go to our number 4 player, also a footballer, but a footballer from overseas. We're talking about Mo Salah. He is the 28-year-old forward for Liverpool FC. He's known as one of the best soccer players in the world. He's got great finishing, great dribbling, great speed, but it was this past Sunday when during his season opener, he scored a hat trick against Leeds for Liverpool, which was also very, first of all, very significant to score 3 goals in a game, in a soccer game. So that definitely caught a lot of people's attention. But on top of that, he broke a major record on Sunday. He broke the record set by Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney. Rooney held the record for the most consecutive victories in games where he scored at least 1 goal. That was 34 straight victories in which his team had won the game where he had scored at least a goal. But now with Salah, it's 35. That's the new record that he holds. And of course, the Premier League just kicked off. In the soccer world, the Premier League is huge to follow. So we can expect a lot of soccer card appreciation for players who do well in the Premier League. Just like, for example, Salah. Now, this is his 2018 World Cup Prism Soccer Silver Raw that you are looking at. Again, another card that is not a very expensive card. If you go back to July, this card was selling for around $25, $22. You could have picked this card up for. It then really started to increase throughout August as soccer cards were hot and people were anticipating the Premier League starting. But you can see the nice spike that occurred on Sunday where this card went all the way up to $199. So again, a card that was available for as little as $25 a month and a half ago just hit $199. So that's some pretty significant increase for Salah. Hopefully some of you out there have his cards. All right, let's go back to American football, the real football, as I like to say, even though some of my soccer friends may disagree. And let's talk about our number 3 guy this week, Gardner Minshew. I mean, talk about a guy who had an awesome performance on Sunday and his team completely surpassed expectations because not many people had hopes for the Jags, but Gardner Minshew was on point. He completed 95% of his passes and he led the Jaguars to a win over the heavily favored Colts. A lot of people thought the Colts were going to win the division. And then here come the Jaguars, who a lot of people thought were going to struggle to even get 3 or 4 wins this season. But Minshew led them to 3 touchdown passes, 95% completions, 0 interceptions in the surprise victory of the Jags over the Colts. It was awesome to see. Of course, Minshew is already a fan favorite with his, cult following, his mustache, his jorts, the whole deal, right? And his card prices definitely peaked as a result of his performance on Sunday. They've been going up the last few months, as so many football cards have, as you can see on the graph here. I'm looking at his 2019 Prism Football base card in PSA 10 on this graph. I mean, this was a card that a few months ago, if you go back 90 days ago, was about $100 to get into this card. And then you can see it's been going up and up and up. And then we had a nice little additional spike that occurred thanks to his play on Sunday. That card is now broken over $200. It's now $205. So a nice doubling in Gardner Minshew's card prices here over the course of the last 90 days. All right, guys, let's talk about another football player. Now, I'm going to talk about a guy whose cards have been extremely hot over the last 90 days, although he did lose on Sunday. Didn't have his best game, so it will be interesting to see what Dak Prescott's cards do as the season goes on. But he has to be mentioned here because his cards have gone up so much. He's been one of the hottest cards of the entire offseason, and that continued in this week leading up to the NFL season kickoff. Now, everyone knows Prescott is the 27-year-old QB for the Cowboys, a Mississippi State guy, a Dan Mullen guy. Go Gators. Prescott's an awesome guy to watch on the field. Of course, there's been a lot of news lately about his contract extension, or actually his lack thereof. The Cowboys not giving him that contract that he has wanted. So he has certainly been in the spotlight. But he's been great on the field. In 2019, he had over 4,900 passing yards, over 30 touchdown passes. He's been a 2 times Pro Bowler. So lots of things to like about Dak, including the rise in Dak's card prices. And let's take a look at those. If we go over here to Dak's 2016 Prism card in PSA 10, this has been a card, I actually mentioned him in a top 5 not too long ago, because this card's been going up and up and up and up all offseason long. And here we are looking at the last 90 days, and you can see the rise that even occurred in the last week here in anticipation of the season beginning. This was a card that was right around $350, just under $350. Actually as low as about $285, $320 if you go back 90 days ago, and that card is now $1,331, $1,275, right around that $1,300 price point, for a total increase of 292%. An incredible price increase. But here's one of the things, guys. I know I talk about cards on this show that are expensive, $1,000 plus cards like this one sometimes. Whenever I talk about a guy like Dak and how high his card prices have gone, normally the same thing happens for his lower end cards as well. And just to illustrate the point, let me show you this graph of Dak Prescott's 2016 Optic Raw. So his Optic rookie card in raw condition during the same time period, and you'll notice it has had a similar increase. Actually, it's had a greater, oh my gosh, this thing's had a crazy increase. From a percentage standpoint, this one's actually gone up 869%. So that can tell you that sometimes the value from a percentage standpoint can actually be greater with some of the lower end cards. And that was actually a point I made in a video a week ago, where I said the days of the higher end cards being the ones that accelerate in value quicker actually may not be the case anymore. Recent data shows that it's sometimes these lower end cards that from a percentage standpoint are outpacing the higher end cards. And it's very true with this Dak Prescott example. So this 2016 Optic Raw was a card that you could have bought 90 days ago for $10, right around $10, okay? And this card, after his performance, after the season starting, and actually not necessarily his performance on Sunday because it wasn't the best, but people anticipating the season getting going, this card has reached a high of right around $70. So this card went from like $9 to over $70. So it shows you can get in to the sports card game for under $10. And if you pick the right card, you could see that under $10 card become worth $70 over the course of 90 days. And Dak Prescott, prime example of that. All right, let's get to our number one guy on the list this week. And it is very fitting that number one this week is Kyler Murray. He, of course, was the number one draft pick in last year's draft. He showed a lot of promise for the Cardinals last season. The Cardinals weren't a very good team, but Murray was a bright spot on the Cardinals. He had good play on the field, and you could see a glimpse of him maybe being a star in the league in the future. Well, that time may be arriving quicker than we thought, because on Sunday, the Cardinals beat San Francisco. Of course, they were the defending NFC champions, and the Cardinals took them down, and Murray looked solid. 230 passing yards and a passing TD, as well as 91 rushing yards. And of those passing yards, 151 were to his new favorite receiver, DeAndre Hopkins. I bet the Texans are a little bit sad now that they got rid of DeAndre Hopkins, because man, did he look good for the Cardinals, and man, is it clear that Kyler Murray has a new weapon to be passing the ball to. Let's look at Kyler Murray's rookie cards. This is his 2019 Prism Football base card, and I used his raw card here again, just to show that, even with cards that are, in this case, under $100, that you can get in and see some incredible appreciation. Because you could have picked up this raw card for as little as $45. There were a lot of sales right around the $50 to $60 range 90 days ago. And after his performance on Sunday, that card spiked all the way up to $165. So his raw card was an increase of 190% over the course of the last 90 days. Awesome to see that type of increase from Kyler Murray. Also awesome is some new content we are going to be bringing you starting on Thursday, a new show on Sports Card Investor called The Forecast. Tune in Thursday. I think you're really going to like it because while this top 5 episode looks back at what happened in the days prior, The Forecast is going to look to the future and give you some ideas on what cards might be heating up next. In addition to that, as I announced in my last episode, we are currently doing a promotion with our Market Movers data platform, 20% off your first payment, monthly or annual. If you would like to check it out, use promo code MARKET for 20% off. And to find out more, go to sportscardinvestor.com, click on Market Movers in the main menu bar, and then use promo code MARKET when you sign up. Hey, that's all I got for today, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your week. I cannot wait for more NFL and NBA action this week, and I will see you back on Thursday with The Forecast. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.